A Mameluke sword /Mameluke / is a cross-hilted, curved, scimitar-like sword historically derived from sabers used by Mamluk warriors of Mamluk Egypt, from whom the sword derives its name. It is related to the swords of the Seljuk Empire. The curved scimitar blades were Central Asian Turkic in origin, from where the style migrated to India, Egypt, and North Africa and the Turkish Kiliye. It was adopted in the 19th century by several Western militaries, including the French Army, British Army, and the United States Marine Corps. Although some genuine Ottoman sabers were used by Westerners, most Mameluke sabers were manufactured in Europe or America. Their hilts were very similar in form to the Ottoman prototype, but their blades tended to be longer, narrower and less curved than those of the true Kiliye, while being wider and also less curved than the Persian Shamshir. In short, the hilt retained its original shape and the blade tended to resemble the blade form typical of contemporary Western military sabers. The Mameluke sword remains the ceremonial sidearm for some units to this day. United States Marine Corps. Marine Corps history states that a sword of this type was presented to Marine First Lieutenant Presley Obanon by the Ottoman Empire Viceroy, Prince Hamit, on December 8, 1805, during the First Barbary War, in Libya, as a gesture of respect and praise for the Marines' actions at the Battle of Derna, 1805. Upon his return to the United States, the state of Virginia presented him with a silver-hilted sword featuring an eagle head hilt and a curved blade modeled after the original Mameluke sword given to him by Hamit. Its blade is inscribed with his name and a commemoration of the Battle of Tripoli Harbor. Perhaps due to the Marines' distinguished record during this campaign, including the capture of the Tripolitan city of Derna after a long and dangerous desert march, Marine Corps Commandant Archibald Henderson adopted the Mameluke sword in 1825 for wear by Marine officers. After initial distribution in 1826, Mameluke swords have been worn except for the years 1859 to 75, when Marine officers were required to wear the U.S. Model 1850 Army Foot Officer's sword, and a brief period when swords were suspended during World War II. Since that time, Mameluke swords have been worn by Marine officers in a continuing tradition to the present day. British Army. Mameluke swords were carried as dress or levy swords by officers of most light cavalry and hussar, and some heavy cavalry regiments in the British Army at various points during the 19th century, starting in the period after Waterloo. The current regulation sword for generals, the 1831 pattern, is a Mameluke-style sword, as were various army band swords. There are a number of factors which influenced the fashion for Mameluke swords in the British Army. Napoleon raised a number of Mameluke units during his Egyptian campaigns in the French Revolutionary Wars, leading to the adoption of this style of sword by many French officers. In the post-Napoleonic period, French military fashion was widely adopted in Britain. The Duke of Wellington carried a Mameluke sword from his days serving in India and throughout his career. After he defeated Napoleon, his status was a national hero, commander-in-chief of the forces, and then prime minister. As such, his tastes had considerable weight. The United States Marine Corps sword, discussed above, has been suggested as also being influential. The 1831 pattern general officer's sword is, indeed, very similar to the USMC Mameluke that predated it.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.